Jaws, written by Peter Benchley, is a thrilling novel published in 1974. Set in a small resort town called Amity on Long Island, New York, the story revolves around a series of shark attacks. The town heavily relies on the summer tourist trade to sustain its local businesses through the winter months. One fateful evening, a couple enjoying themselves on the beach remains unaware of the lurking danger, a great white shark in the nearby waters. Chrissy Watkins, one of the pair, decides to go for a swim, only to fall victim to the shark's relentless assault. When Chrissy's companion, Tom, awakens and realizes she's missing, he returns home, wakes his friends, and files a report with Leonard Len Hendricks, a local officer. Recognizing the severity of the situation, Hendricks contacts the Amity Police Chief, Martin Brody. As the call rouses Brody from his slumber, he casts a glance at his sleeping wife, Ellen. Although they have been married for many years and have 3 sons together, Brody senses Ellen's dissatisfaction with their life in Amity. Coming from a wealthy background as part of the affluent summer tourist crowd, Ellen has been trying to reconnect with her past, but Brody, deeply rooted in Amity as a lifelong resident, is unsure how to assist her. Leaving his house, Brody makes his way to the police station, accompanied by Hendricks, as they embark on the search for Chrissy. Their grim discovery awaits them, a brutalized corpse lying on the beach. Brody is compelled to close the Amity beaches, recognizing the imminent danger, but Mayor Larry Vaughn intervenes. Fearful of jeopardizing the lucrative summer trade, especially with the upcoming 4th of July weekend, Vaughn insists on keeping the beaches open. Under Vaughn's persuasive influence, Brody reluctantly agrees to collaborate with Harry Meadows, the editor of the local newspaper, in order to suppress news of the shark attacks. Privately, Brody and Meadows speculate about the enigmatic business partners of Mayor Vaughn. However, their suspicions remain unanswered. Days later, the shark strikes again, claiming the lives of a young boy and an elderly man in separate incidents on Amity's beaches. Determined to protect the town, Brody enlists the help of a fisherman named Ben Gardner, tasking him with hunting down the shark. However, Gardner mysteriously disappears from his boat. Examining the vessel, Brody and Hendricks discover signs of damage and bite marks, strongly suggesting that Gardner fell victim to the shark. Overwhelmed with guilt, Brody faces accusations from the grieving mother of the young boy and the widow of Gardner, who hold him responsible for the deaths. In his pursuit of justice, Brody implores Meadows to dig deeper into Vaughn's shadowy past while simultaneously striving to close the beaches once again, even if it means jeopardizing his own position. During this tumultuous period, Brody crosses paths with Matt Hooper, an expert on sharks hailing from a nearby oceanographic institute. Intrigued by the great white shark terrorizing the area, Hooper's arrival brings a twist of fate. He happens to be the younger brother of a man Ellen once dated. Like Ellen, Hooper comes from a wealthy background, having spent vacations in seaside resort towns similar to Amity. This shared background leads to tension between Brody and Hooper, while Ellen becomes increasingly fascinated by Hooper's connection to her past. Hoping to recapture nostalgic memories, as Ellen's curiosity grows, she hosts a dinner party and extends an invitation to Hooper, further exacerbating the strained relationship between Brody and his wife. Feeling disheartened, Brody seeks solace in alcohol, unintentionally aggravating Ellen during the event as she seemingly flirts with Hooper. The following day, Brody heads to work, while Ellen decides to call Hooper, arranging a lunch meeting that ultimately leads to an intimate encounter at a motel. Suspecting his wife of infidelity, Brody finds himself consumed by paranoia. Fearful of confronting Ellen or Hooper directly, his suspicions torment him, intensifying his emotional turmoil. Despite several days passing without any shark sightings or attacks, Vaughn manages to convince Brody to reopen the beaches, a decision Brody reluctantly agrees to, further complicating the dangerous situation. Meadows reveals that Vaughn is deeply entangled in organized crime, with his fortunes tied to a local mobster. If property values in Amity decline, Vaughn would face devastating losses. Initially denying these allegations, Vaughn grows increasingly anxious and desperate. In the meantime, the reopened beaches attract significant attention as people flock to Amity to witness the shark that has now become a national sensation. News reporters swarm the beaches, capturing footage, while Brody vigilantly scans the sea. A close call occurs when a boy narrowly escapes a shark attack while swimming. Realizing the gravity of the situation, Brody determines that he must close the beaches again, disregarding the approaching 4th of July weekend, spiraling into alcoholism and on the brink of leaving Amity, Vaughn reaches a breaking point. Desperate for a solution, Brody agrees to hire Quint, a hardened and taciturn local fisherman known for his skills. However, Quint demands double the usual fee for his services. Brody and Hooper accompany Quint on his boat to embark on the hunt for the shark. The tedious and monotonous hours at sea take a toll on the three men, leading to tensions and heated arguments. Hooper disapproves of Quint's ruthless methods, particularly his disregard for environmental regulations. Brody, still plagued by suspicions, harbors doubts about Hooper's involvement with Ellen. Quint, on the other hand, resents Brody's lack of knowledge about fishing and the sea. Spending 2 days at sea, their encounters are limited to smaller blue sharks, failing to find their target. However, at the end of the second day, they finally come face to face with the colossal shark responsible for terrorizing Amity. Its immense size dawns on them, making the daunting nature of their mission abundantly clear. Despite their efforts, they struggle to capture the shark, as it effortlessly severs their thick bait lines with its powerful bite. While Brody is away at sea, Vaughn pays a visit to Ellen. He confesses his plans to flee Amity and muses about the alternate life they could have had if they had married. This conversation prompts Ellen to reflect on her own life and feelings, realizing that her love for her husband is unwavering. Upon Brody's return home, she embraces him, reaffirming their bond. The determined men embark on another expedition, with Hooper bringing along a submersible cage to film the shark underwater. Despite numerous failed attempts to harpoon the shark, Hooper decides to enter the cage himself. Tragically, the shark launches a deadly attack, claiming Hooper's life. Overwhelmed with grief, Brody yearns to abandon the pursuit, but Quint adamantly refuses. Money no longer matters to Quint, his sole focus is eliminating the shark. Despite Ellen's heartfelt objections, Quint and Brody set out once more the following day. During this perilous voyage, the shark retaliates, attacking their boat. Quint valiantly strikes the shark with multiple harpoons, each attached to a buoyant barrel intended to exhaust the creature by keeping it afloat. Tracking the shark for hours, they engage in a relentless battle. However, the tenacious predator strikes the boat once again, causing it to sink and resulting in Quint's demise. Brody is thrown into the water, while the dying shark approaches him. Just as the shark is about to reach its final target, it succumbs to its wounds and perishes. Witnessing the shark and Quint descending into the depths of the ocean, Brody musters the strength to swim back to safety. I hope you enjoyed this video. Leave a like if you did and be sure to subscribe. Thank you.